Alright, hi guys, we have the second phase of 4.3 banners and they are coming tomorrow. Navia is going away, Ayaka is going away, and we are welcoming the Raiden Shogun herself and Yoimiya. Raiden, of course, being the Electro Archon, one of the coolest and most popular characters out there. Yoimiya being one of the coolest bow characters as well. A very simple but effective playstyle. So a lot of people will be looking to pull on these banners. But guys, I come here with a warning. A massive warning to people who will be pulling on these banners. Do not overspend, and perhaps maybe not even pull at all. I would suggest skipping and I would suggest saving, and I will tell you why in this video. But before that, let me just go over the banners real quick. So we have Raiden Shogun, Electro DPS or Sub DPS, now relegated to a Hyper Bloom team, perhaps only for Elemental Mastery and reactions. Her usefulness has been declining, her power has been declining. There are other teams, there are many more Fontaine characters cropping up, overtaking her spot in different teams. The meta shifting, the Raiden team not being as popular anymore. Of course you have the Rational, International, all those teams that Raiden may be used in. They are still there, however there are other teams that are now performing better. And Raiden's usefulness has been declining, guys. However, if you love Raiden and if you've been looking forward to her and building her using one of her older teams, you know, I can't tell you no. However, I'm just saying Raiden right now is not one of the best characters out there. She takes forever to properly build. Her team is, well, you need C6 Sarah if you want a hyper carry Raiden for one. And if you just want Raiden as a support or sub DPS in a Hyper Bloom team, why not just use Cookie? There's so many things going against Raiden right now. Let's say this though, if you are looking for Raiden C2, is Raiden C2 insane? Yes, yes it is. And if you already have Raiden C1 and you're pushing up to that Raiden C2, maybe it's good to summon and maybe it's good to get her. But after that, no more, guys. No more Raiden. If you really want your C2, get it. Try not to overpull. Of course, it's RNG, but this banner is a little bit of a trap. The same goes for Yoimiya, guys. She used to be top tier Pyro DPS. However, she's been slowly falling off. Of course, Hutao is there. Linny is there. Linny, I think, just beats Yoimiya in pretty much, well, in a lot of things. Yoimiya is simple to play. She's a very single target oriented Pyro DPS, guys. She's no good in areas where you have a lot of enemies. So if there's Spiral Abyss floors with a lot of enemies, especially if they're scattered, Yoimiya is no good at that. She's also a little bit annoying to build. But guys, if you do want a Pyro DPS, if you have no Pyro DPSs and you really love Yoimiya, she's here if you really, really want her. The one plus, the one positive there is on these banners is that Raiden and Yoimiya, they have the same artifact domain. So if you want to farm their artifacts, if you somehow get both of them or have both of them, you can farm the same artifact domain and it's got their sets in there. Of course, I'm talking about the emblem set and the Shimenawa set. Now guys, I do have both Raiden and Yoimiya. Raiden was one of my first 5 stars I ever got. Yes, these characters can be fun to play, but as I say, they have been falling off a little bit. There are other characters coming out in Fontaine, even Sumeru, that are just overtaking those characters and those teams, and unfortunately they're not as relevant anymore. But let's quickly talk about the 4 stars. So, of course, the new character, Chevreuse, is on this banner. Is she good? Well, goodish. Okay, she's kind of mid, let's be honest. She will only work with Pyro and Electro characters, and you will kind of run an overload reaction team where you're overloading. I mean, it's that simple. You do want her C6 from what we can tell, although it's not super mandatory like Faruzan, but it's really nice. She doesn't do much damage herself, more of a support. And again, she will only work with Electro and Pyro characters, so a little bit niche in that regard. She looks cool, of course, and she was in the recent event, so a lot of people are looking forward to her. If you are already summoning on these banners, perhaps for Raiden C2, well, you might pick up a few Chevreuses. But she is a 4-star, and recently the 4-stars have been kind of disappointing. She does follow that trend, unfortunately. Next we have Sarah. So you do want Sarah C6 for your Raiden Hypercarry build. You can also do some other stuff with Sarah, but she's kind of tied to Raiden, unfortunately. There's not much else to say about Sarah, guys. If you are going for Raiden, you probably will want to pick up a few Sarahs. Although then again, if you're running International or Hyper Bloom with Raiden, you don't need Sarah. So she's there if you want her, and if you know what team you're building, good luck on your C6. Lastly, Bennett. Bennett's very good. Classic character. Everyone loves him. Everyone knows Bennett. Decent. You can even C6 him now without much trouble. I think Bennett C6 has been a thing for a while now. So get your Bennett. Obviously you want the C4, C5, at least C5. C6 is you know, you take it or leave it. And yeah, Bennett's very good. Good healing, good damage support, boosts your characters. Amazing character. I've used Bennett for so long now, and almost every abyss he's very useful. Let's try and quickly go over the weapon banner. Okay, so we have the Thundering Pulse and the Engulfing Lightning. Very good weapons. As far as 5-star weapons go, these are one of the best ones in their categories. The Engulfing Lightning is of course an energy recharge spear or polearm, and it's Raiden's signature. It's also pretty good on Shangling. Yeah, so if you do happen to get this weapon, of course it looks really good on Raiden. There it is. However, if you do not, well, you can use the catch on Raiden, as I think most people use the catch on her if they don't have this weapon, and it does not as well as Engulfing Lightning, but the catch is a decent substitute. Some other people use Favonius Lance, but it's realistically only the catch or Engulfing Lightning. Thundering Pulse is Yoimiya's, of course, signature weapon. You can also use it on some other characters. It is a crit damage weapon. It gives you a bit of attack and some normal attack damage. I think some people do use it on Tartaglia as well, but of course Yoimiya would be best suited for it. The 5-star weapons, I'll be honest guys, are very good. Now let's look at the 4-stars. So we have the Rust, the 4-star bow. Again, pretty useful on Yoimiya and Tartaglia, although it is just a 4-star, but if it's R5, it's actually decent. It does decent damage, so not a bad bow. Then we have the Favonius sword, one of the best support swords there is, energy recharge sword. If you have a Bennett, if you pick up a Bennett on this banner, you know, give him the Favonius sword and he'll do the job. The rest, however, isn't very good. The Eye of Perception is trash, the Rain Slasher is trash, and the Wavebreaker's Fin is very mid and niche, so don't really concern yourself with those. They do have their place, don't get me wrong, certain characters can use them in certain builds, but overall, they're not very good. So guys, why did I say this is a trap banner? Why did I say this is a warning? Well, I'm trying to warn you because these characters have sort of fallen off a little bit. They're not as prevalent in the meta anymore. They're not used in as many teams. There's so many other characters that are replacing the roles that these characters serve. They require a lot of investment. Let's take Navia for example. We just have Navia now. She'll be gone tomorrow. She doesn't require as much investment as these characters, and she does so much damage comparatively to these two. You know, she does as much damage as Yoimiya, but with such little investment. She can beat Raiden in damage as well. Navia's insane compared to these two characters. And what's upcoming? We have to consider the upcoming banners, guys. We have Cloud Retainer coming up. We have characters such as Nahida. Then we have, I think, Shao and Yeimiko are suspected to come. Nahida will be insane. Nahida compared to Raiden and Yoimiya is so much better. and she serves so many purposes. She's great in so many teams, especially with those Dendro reactions, with the Hyper Bloom, even if you're just running other teams, she's an excellent sub DPS. And currently Nahida is one of the best characters in the game. And also Cloud Retainer, she's going to be a really interesting support. She'll give you a lot of new playstyles from what I hear, so Cloud Retainer will be insane in her own way. So you have to consider all of these things. You know, Chevreuse turns out to be a little bit niche and a little bit mid. Yes, if you are lacking Bennett, he's here, but you know, Bennett, I think a lot of people have him already. And are you really that desperate for the Raiden C2 when so many more characters are coming up? Chlorinde is coming up, you know, Chiori, Arlecchino. Do you really want to be stuck in 2.1, 2.3 with Yoimiya, Raiden as these older characters? Good in their own ways, sure, but we have so many cool Fontaine characters coming up. But yeah guys, I just wanted to warn you, perhaps consider skipping. I know these characters are very, very cool and I love them as much as you do, but perhaps this is a good time to save. And these banners, I'll say it again, are a little bit of a trap. So, hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.